So I finally saw James Gunn's Superman the other day, and I thought it was great. There are so many things that I love about this movie, but there are also a few small things that I didn't like as well. So I'm going to talk about what I didn't like at first, just to get it out of the way, and then I'll move on to the positives. So the biggest problem with this movie was its pacing. There was just too much stuff going on all at once, and I feel like if the movie was around 20 minutes longer, it could have had a lot more time to explore the different plot threads. I also think that Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner were a bit underutilized. Mr. Terrific gets a lot to do, he gets to have a real impact on the plot, but the other two Justice Gang members, not so much. But that's pretty much everything I can think of when it comes to what I didn't like about this movie. So now I'm going to move on to what I did like, and let me tell you, there's a lot. So starting off, I thought that visually it looked great. I'm so sick of that muddy, grey color grading that a lot of Marvel movies have nowadays. It makes everything look very boring and lifeless, and it's so refreshing to have a modern superhero film that's actually bright and colorful for a change. I feel like in terms of the visuals, the Spider-Verse movies are the ones that look the most like comic books, but obviously those films do have an unfair advantage because they are animated, but I think that Gunn's Superman is the closest you can get to making a live-action superhero movie look and feel like a comic book. And it's not just the visuals that make it feel like this, there are a bunch of other things that Gunn does that really immerse you into this world. You know how Marvel movies are set in our world, but just with superheroes in it? Well, this movie isn't like that. This movie's Metropolis doesn't feel like New York. It has its own visual identity, in the same way that Gotham City from the Batman also doesn't look like New York either. It just looks like Gotham. This world feels very established. In this movie, Superman fights kaiju, he goes to a pocket universe, he goes to space, like, so much wacky adventure stuff happens in this movie. Like, whenever there's an attack happening in Metropolis, there are even some people who are just unbothered, as if it's like, just another Tuesday for them. That tells you so much about the world without saying anything at all, and I love that. I also thought all the characters were very well written. I think Gunn really did justice to all the characters in this movie. They all act like their comic book selves. Every character in this film gets their chance to shine. The entire cast did a fantastic job bringing these characters to life. Lois is exactly how I would imagine Lois to act in a Superman movie. She's confident, intelligent, snarky, and also has a lot of agency, instead of just being a typical damsel in distress love interest. And I think Rachel Brosnahan did an amazing job portraying Lois, but Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor is on another level. He absolutely stole the show. There is not a single second where this man is on screen and is not absolutely hating on Superman for just existing. He plays Lex with so much arrogance and disdain. Like, when he yells, you can really feel the rage coming from his voice. It's amazing. But what I really loved about this movie was Superman himself. It is so refreshing to see a Superman that actually shows emotion and saves people even when he's fighting huge monsters and robots, instead of just aura farming the entire time. And David Cornsweet was perfect as not just Superman, but Clark Kent as well. He is what RDJ is to Iron Man, what Hugh Jackman is to Wolverine, what Charlie Cox is to Daredevil. Like, when I look at this guy, I don't see a guy playing Superman. I just see the character. And also, side note, a lot of people like to make fun of Superman's disguise because of the glasses, but in this movie you can clearly see that the glasses are not the only thing hiding his identity. His hairstyle is different, he wears baggy clothes, he changes his voice, he slouches. Like, this idea that the glasses are the only thing keeping people from knowing his secret identity is just wrong. But anyway, moving on. So, another thing I really loved about this movie is the action. The action in this movie is super fun. The camera movements are very dynamic and fast-paced. Gunn makes great use of close-ups and slow motion. The action is very similar to, like, the action from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And what I really liked is that even though this movie has some very fun, energetic action scenes, it also has a lot of very grounded, emotional, character-driven moments as well. And these moments where the characters are being very vulnerable and just talking to each other are when the film is at its best, in my opinion. I think it perfectly balanced out the action and humor with the more emotional scenes. And these scenes are greatly elevated by the incredible background music. The soundtrack in this film is so good. Music to my ears. The Superman theme in this movie is an orchestral of the original John Williams score, and it is beautiful. And then there are other amazing songs like 5 Years Time and Punk Rocker. When it comes to music, Gunn knows his stuff. With that being said, I am giving James Gunn's Superman an 8.5 out of 10. At the end of the day, this movie was by no means a masterpiece, but it was a really fun watch, and I think it came out at the perfect time. At a time when superhero movies aren't the best, and when being a good person is seen as being weird or cringe, it is so refreshing to see a movie where the whole message is just be a good person. What I'm trying to say is that James Gunn's Superman is the movie we need right now.